In this video, we will see the input and output functions in Python. When we write any program, it is better practice to read the input from the user and perform the computation according to the input given by the user, and finally display the answer to the user on the screen. And Python provides an inbuilt function called input in order to read the input from the keyboard. And when this function is executed, the program flow will be temporarily stopped, and then it will wait until the user gives some input. And generally, it is a better practice to display some message to the user in the prompt so that the user will know what data he has to enter. So we are going to display a message on the output screen that will tell the user what should be entered as the input. And finally, when the user enters a line of input, the moment he presses the enter key, the input function will convert that into a string. And sometimes we may also enter integer data or floating point data, but whatever data we enter, that will be taken only as string. So even if an integer value is entered, the input function convert that into a string. So with string, we can perform only string related function. Suppose if I enter a number, I want to perform division. It is not possible if the number is treated as a string. So in that case, we need to go for explicit typecasting in order to convert the string into an integer value. And also, we need to print the output to the user. So for printing the output to the user, we have the print function. We have already seen some examples for this print function. And this function will print a specific message on the screen, which is generally a string. So the message can be a string. Sometimes we can even print some object. If the message is object other than the string, then the object will be converted into string before it is written to the screen. So anyway, finally the print function is going to print only string on the screen. So now let's see the syntax of the print function. So the print function is going to accept certain arguments. Let's see them one by one. First argument is the object, and second argument is a separator, and third argument is end value. Then we can give file, and then the last argument is flush. So out of these 5 arguments, the last 4 arguments are optional arguments. Other than the object, all the remaining are optional arguments. So now let's see one by one all the arguments. So the first argument is object. Here we can give any number of objects that we want to print by using this function. So always the objects will be converted into string before they are printed. And next comes a separator. So this separator is when we have more than one object to be printed, then what is going to be separating the two objects? That will be mentioned in the separator. So it is going to specify how we are going to separate the object when we have more than one. And the default separator is space, a single space. And this one we are not going to set, it is automatically set. When we want to override it, we can do by setting the separator we want in this particular field. And the third field is end. It is going to specify what has to be printed after printing the object. So the default print value is /n. There is nothing but new line character. That means that whatever object we are giving in the print function, after printing everything, it will go to the next line. So we can even override the behavior by setting the proper end character. And then the next argument is file. So sometimes we need to write the data to the file, or otherwise we may want to print the data to the output screen. So if we want to print the data to the file, that is when we want to write the data to the file, we can set the value here, but the default value is system.stdout. It stands for standard output device, which is nothing but our monitor. Then the last argument is flush. It is generally a Boolean value. It can be either true or false. And if it is true, it is going to tell that the output has to be flushed. If it is false, the output will not be flushed. It will be buffered. So the default value is set as false. So whenever we want to flush the data, we have to set the value to true. Now let's see some example for print function. So I want to print totally 3 different objects here. So I'm calling one print function to print more than one object. So all the three objects are string. So I'm giving them inside double quote. So when I call this function, it is going to print 1, 2, and 3. And if you see, I didn't set any separator. So the default separator will be taken into consideration. Default separator is space. So between the object 1 and 2, there is a space. Similarly, between the objects 2 and 3, there is a space. Now, let's see the second example. Suppose I want to override the default separator. So I am going to set now sep is equal to, inside double quote, we can set whatever separator we want. Now I have given double hyphen, then greater than symbol, that is for arrow I have given. So now when I print this, the message is 1 arrow, 2 arrow, 3. Next we'll see for end. So in case of end, it is going to tell after printing the object, what will appear at the end of the object. So here I am printing the three objects and I am setting end as dot. So after printing all the three objects, dot will be printed at the end. So the default one is new line character, but here I am going to display dot at the end. Similarly, if I set comma for the end, after printing all the three objects, a comma will be displayed at the end. So by using the print function, we can either go for the default behavior or otherwise we can override them according to our choice. Now let's see one program to understand the input function. So now I am going to write the program in the shell mode. So far we have seen in the interactive mode. Here afterwards, let's see the programs in the shell mode. In this, first I am going to get the name as well as roll number from the user. So I'm going to read two input from the user. So for that, I'm going to use the function input. So in the input function, we have to always give the prompt message. Actually, this is optional only. When you give the message, the user will know what he has to enter. So I'm calling the function input by passing enter your name as the argument. So at this point of time, the user will be entering the name when the program runs. So that name should be stored in a variable. So I have declared a variable called a name. In that, it will be automatically stored. Then I want to read the roll number from the user. So I am again calling the function input. Now the prompt message is enter your roll number, so that the user will know that he has to enter the roll number and read the roll number entered by the user. Then it will be stored in the variable roll number. Now let us see how to print these two data. After reading name and the roll number, I want to print them. So to the print function, I'm going to pass the string. So the string is now, I want to first have some display as name is equal to. So I'm giving that inside the double quote. After that, whatever name is stored in this variable name, that should be displayed. So we can call the variable here by just naming the variable. So here it is name. And whenever we print string along with value of the variable, we have to use comma here. So I am giving comma. Next, I want to print the roll number. So again, I am calling the function print. So this time the message is printed as roll number. Then we need to print the value contained in the variable roll number. So I'm giving comma roll number. Finally, just for understanding this, I'm going to print the type of the name as well as roll number. So for that, I am calling type function. So to the type function, I'm going to pass the variable name and then the variable roll number. So I'm going to print the message that type of name is equal to whatever type is there that will be displayed. Similarly, I am printing the type of roll number also by calling the type function by passing roll number, the object value, the type of the object will be printed. So when I run the program, first, the input function will just display the prompt to the user. That is nothing but whatever message we have given inside the double quote. So here, enter your name will be displayed to the user. I'm going to just now enter some name. After that, it will ask for the roll number because our second input is going to display enter your roll number. Now we can type the roll number. Finally, the name and the roll number will be stored in the appropriate variables. After that, I am printing the value. So the first print statement is going to print name followed by the value of the variable. So it is nothing but I have entered Aman Kumar. So that will be printed. After that, next I am printing the roll number. So roll number is 25. Whatever I have entered, that is printed. So in the next two lines, I am printing the type of the variable. So according to this example, for name, I have entered sequence of characters. So that is a string data. Whereas for roll number, I have entered 25. It can be treated as a number. Generally, it is integer because I didn't give any decimal point. So it should be integer. But when I'm printing the type of name and roll number, for both it is displaying str, that is string. So name is string, that is fine because we have entered string only. Whereas roll number, we have entered 25, which is a integer, but we are getting the type as string. So the reason is the input function will accept the data from the user and that data will be treated only as string. So it is the responsibility of the user to convert that data into the required data type. Now let's see what will happen when we proceed with the data without converting as such. So in this example, I am going to get two numbers from the user. So I am giving two input functions, one for reading the first number, another for reading the second number. The first number is stored in the variable x and second number is stored in the variable y. Then the sum of two numbers is computed by sum is equal to x plus y. After that, I am calculating the average by sum divided by 2. Now I am trying to print the average and sum. So the first printf statement is going to print the sum. So for printing, I'm just displaying the message sum, comma sum. After that, in the next printf statement, I'm going to print average. When we run this program, I'm getting an error message. So the error is type error. So if you read the error, it is saying that unsupported operand type for divide. So here we are using division operator here. In this, I am trying to divide the sum by 2. So here sum is nothing but I have entered the first number as 6 and second number as 7. So we are expecting sum as 6 plus 7, that is equal to 13. But here both 6 and 7 will be treated only as string. So sum will be just concatenation of both the strings. So after this statement, if we print the data, we'll be getting 67, not 13. Because it is going to treat 6 and 7 as string. When we apply the plus operator to the string, it will be concatenating the second string after the first string. So 67 will be the output, even that will be the string only. It will not be an integer number, it will be treated as string only. After that, when I try to divide sum by 2, I'm trying to apply the division operator to the string variable. It is not allowed. So division is expecting the number to be either integer or float or something, but I am giving division for string. So it is not allowed. So I am getting type error, unsupported operand type. So here for divide, it is saying that str and int. So this sum is now str. So it is showing str and the second one is int because 2 is an integer variable. So we cannot divide a string by an integer variable. So we are getting this error. Now let's see how to resolve this error. We can correct that error with the help of typecasting. So typecasting is when I enter some data through the input function, whatever is accepted, that will be taken as string only. But I need to convert the data into my required type. For that, I'm going for typecasting. So in this, the first number and the second number will be converted into floating point type. So I am now giving this entire input statement inside float. So float is a function. So just use float followed by open parenthesis and close parenthesis because it is a function. Inside that, we can simply write the input statement. So now whatever value we are entering for the first number, that will be first string only. After that, it will be converted into floating point data and that will be stored in the variable x. Similarly, the second number will be read from the user, that will be string. Then by typecasting, we'll be converting that into float and that will be stored in the variable y. Then let's compute the sum by sum is equal to x plus y. Then average is sum divided by 2. Now I am trying to print both sum and the average. I am getting the proper answer now. There is no error because we have converted the string into a floating point data. So we can perform division operation on floating point data. So we are getting now sum is 6 plus 7, that is 13, and average is 13 by 2, that is 6.5. Now let's see an important function called format, which can be used along with the print. So whenever we are trying to print some strings on the screen, this format method can be used. This format method can be used for formatting any string. So whatever string we are going to format, that can be used as the object to call this method. So we can call this method by means of object name, that is nothing but the reference name, dot the method name. To call the format method, I can use the reference to the object, that is nothing but the string object. So the syntax is the object reference dot the method name, that is nothing but format. And in case of format method, we are going to use something known as placeholders. So here to represent the placeholder, we are going to represent the curly brace open and close. And the number of curly braces can be anything. After the string, we are going to use dot, then format. And within the bracket, we are going to write value 1, value 2, and so on. The number of value variables will be equal to the number of placeholders we have here. So these values can be either integer or floating point constant, or otherwise they can be string, character, sometimes even variables. Now let's see one program to understand the formatting of strings. So in this first I'm going to read two numbers from the user, and they will be stored in the variables x and y, and sum and average are calculated as sum is equal to x plus y and average is equal to sum by 2. Now I need to print the output in this format. Before that, when I run this program, for the first number, let me assume that I am going to type 21, and for the second number, it is 20. So these 21 and 20 are nothing but, it can be any value. It is generally the value that is stored in the variable. Now, when I print the output, I want to print sum of the first value will be, here it is 21. That is nothing but the first number I have entered in this. So 21 and 20. So this 20 is the second number entered. So sum of 21 and 20 is 41. This particular message must be printed. Suppose if I enter 40 and 20, it should print sum of 40 and 20 is 60. So now let's see how to achieve this one. So in this sum of, this is a string which will not change. It will be always printed as sum of only. So we can give that as a string. So inside double quote, we can give sum of. After that, in this, I don't want 21 always. Instead, whatever is the value for the first number, that should be printed in this. So for this, we are going to now give the placeholder, because the value of the variable should be printed instead of a constant number 21. Then this is and, it should be printed as such. So we can give straightly as a string. And the next is 20. 20 is nothing but the value of the second number. Since we want the value of the variable, again we are going to use a placeholder. After that is, this is a message. It should be printed as such. So we can give it directly. Then again, I need the value of the variable. So it is 41. It's nothing but 21 plus 20. So since I want the value of the variable, it should be again the placeholder. Now we can close this one. Now this is given inside double quote. So whatever we give inside double quote, that will be treated as string. So now to invoke this format method, we need a string. So this is a string we are going to use to invoke the format method. So we need now the object reference dot format. So this is a syntax. Now we are going to pass some values to the function. So how many values we are going to pass? That depends upon how many placeholders we have in this. There are totally 3 placeholders. So we need to pass 3 values now. The first value, whatever I'm going to pass, that will be taken for the first placeholder. So it is now value of x. Then for the second placeholder, I need to print the value of y. Then for the third placeholder, I need to print the value of sum. So this will be taking the variables in the order in which they appear for all the placeholders one by one. We can also change the order by specifying the index in this. Now let's see one example for that. When I print the average, I want to print average as average of the first number and second number is average value. So in this is the first number, it is a variable, and this 20 is again a variable, and 20.5 is again a variable. So I need to print average of the first variable, and the second variable is the average variable value. So now let's see how to achieve this one. So first I want average of as such. So it is given directly inside double quote. Then I need the value of a variable. So I'm giving now a curly brace. Then and is the message. So it is given directly as such. Now again value of variable is required. So again one more curly brace. Then is a message. So we can give it directly. And 20.5 is the value of the average variable. So it is again a placeholder. Now this is a string. So I'm giving it inside the double quote. I'm going to now invoke the format method by means of this string. So the object dot format. Now I'm passing the three arguments to this function because there are three placeholders in this. The arguments are x, y, and then average. So when I print this, now in this inside the curly brace, I am giving number. So this number is nothing but I have three arguments in this. The first argument will be treated as 0. The index of the first argument is 0. For the second argument, index is 1. And for the third argument, index is 2. So when I call this function, first it will be considering the argument with 0 index. That is nothing but x. So it is going to print the value of x in the first output. So I am getting the value of x as 21. After that, for this one, it will be taking the value of the second argument. That is nothing but y. So the value of y is 20. So that is printed. Then after this is, I have given 2 inside the curly brace. So it will take the value of the third argument. There is nothing but average. So the average value is 41 by 2, 20.5. So that is printed. In the next print statement, I have changed the placeholder index 1 and 0. Instead of 0 and 1, I have given 1 and 0. So when this is printed, first it will print average of, since I have given 1 here, it will take the second argument in this, that is y. The value of y is 20. So first 20 will be printed. And then and will be printed, then 0 is given inside the placeholder. So it will print the value of the first argument, that is x. So x is 21. So 21 is now printed. After that, the average value is printed because here it is given as 2. 2 is nothing but the third argument, that is average. By means of formatting, we can control how the output should be displayed to the user.